Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. I would like to wish you all a happy bank holiday, even though, same as usual, I'm not entirely sure when I'm going to upload this, but I'm enjoying the lovely weather for this bank holiday for a change. That's not to say that the British bank holidays are always a washout, but most times they are, but it's actually very nice, as you can see, which is why I thought I would move today's recording to the garden. Okay, so what I'm doing today is I'm actually doing another make something with me segment. So this time I'm going to be featuring Stitch and Story's Homestead yarn from their £20 grab bags, which have 6 balls of yarn in there, each weighing at I think 50 grams. It's actually a really good steal. Yeah, so it's actually a really good steal. So this bank holiday weekend, they actually have different colours that are up for grabs across their entire range of the Homestead yarn, the merino style, and the jolie and the chunky one. I think those are the 4 that they do. I think the only quip that I ever had with the grab bags was that they don't have a wide range of colour choices, but it's a business at the end of the day and it makes sense, so it's a good tester for you to try out to see what yarn you prefer from Stitch and Story, and then of course if you want another colour, then by all means you're more than welcome to pay full price for it. Well, I say full price, but a little bit more than you would pay for the grab bags, at retail value at least anyway. But then Stitch and Story is they're really good because they tend to do sales like every now and then, and I like that they've recently done a You've Asked and We've Answered segment where they reduced the prices of their popular yarn, which was actually an amazing thing for them to do. So this right now is probably my 4th purchase from there. I'm quite biased, but the yarn is incredible. So for anything I make for home accessories, like for the bedroom, like cushions, cushion covers and stuff, yeah, Stitch and Story is going to be my go-to. Okay, so thank you for staying tuned for my little ramble, but I'm actually going to do make a cushion cover with me with our Stitch and Story Homestead yarn. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, and you can see how the progress comes along. Oh yeah, also this cushion cover is also from the grab bags 1 of 6 patterns. I thought the best one for me to do would be the cushion cover because it's something kind of easy, relatively quickish, but I also get to use a different stitch that I haven't done before, so I'm really looking forward to using the basket weaving stitch, and let's see how these all turn out. Okay, so welcome back. So this was the first 32 rows of stockinette stitch that we did for the either back or the front side of your pillow. So I did show you how to attach a new piece of yarn here using the kind of double tying, or rather double knotting stitch, but what they always recommend is that you start from the beginning of your row. So I've snipped this off because this is all the colour that all of the yellow or like dune sandy colour that I needed, and I'm going to show you all how we're going to attach, or rather use the new colour. Okay, and I also wanted to show you this. It's a new, can't quite see, but it's an electronic stitch counter. So I'm just going to attach this to my thumb. I've no idea where it's from. It was a birthday present, but yeah, easily somewhere online. Let's try and attach this really secure. There you go. So this is actually really handy because it's quite hard to see here. So it's currently at 0, and I can just press this button here, so I can actually keep track of how many. So there you go. So I can keep track of how many rows that I do, and then if I want to reset because I've made a mistake, so there we go, I can say that I've done like 3 rows, and if I've done a mistake, then I can always just go and reset this back to the beginning. So this will come in handy. You don't necessarily need it, and I'm all for back to basics and just doing mental counts, or if you want to make notes on a bit of paper, but this is actually pretty handy for when you need to count how many rows you need to do here. So that would have been really handy for my 32 rows that we did previously, but kind of forgot I had it, and was also reminded that I could be using my birthday present while I'm doing this project. Okay, so I'm just going to attach our new piece of wool, which is actually this pretty sky blue colour. Now instead of knotting, actually it's probably better to show you like this. So instead of knotting the end pieces, I'm just going to attach it right here. So just a standard little knot. If you want to double tie it like I did for the other one, you're more than welcome to, but really it will be nice and secure anyway. And you're going to push it right to the top, secure that a bit more, and as you can see here, you've got your new colour to use. What I like to do is just take my old thread and push that as high as it can go there, and then I can hold onto that while I start knitting. So for this one, we're actually going to do basket weaving stitch, and that changes every 7th row. So we're going to basket weave, which is basically starting, well, for here, we're going to knit the first 5 rows, then we're going to purl the next 5, knit the third group of 5, and then end on a purl. And then we're going to knit purl in that same way for a total of 6 rows, which I will count on here. Okay, so let me just show you how the first like 3 rows will turn out. Okay, so I'm going to use my counter, and then we're going to put number 1, because that's my first row. There we go. So I'm going to pull my old one, and I'm going to hold it with my index finger at the back, between my index and my middle finger, and I'm going to knit. There we go, number 1. So we're knitting 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, so we've knit the first 5, we're going to bring this yarn forward, and we're going to purl 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we purled 5, and now we're going to put the yarn back. Oh, sorry, my yarn's going all over the place. And then we're going to knit our third group of 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we should have 5 left, and we're going to purl these 5. So bringing the yarn forward, purl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's the first row of our basket weaving stitch. So you can see here where it kind of blends in with the previous pattern. These are our knitted rows, and then we've got these lines here which show our purl rows. Okay, so that's the first row. Now I'm going to add my second row, so we're doing row 2 now. Okay, so same as before, we're going to knit the first 5. So it's a bit tricky to see here, but where you can see the V here, you know that you should be knitting this row. Where you see the bars, then you know you should be purling this row. It becomes a lot clearer once we've done like 2 rows and we're on our 3rd, but I'll show you just how clear it is. So knitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to purl these ones. There we go. So we've done 10 so far. We have no lines here like we do over here, so we're going back to knitting. 4, 5. Then we're going to end with a purl stitch for the last 5. 3, 4, and we're going to be careful of our attachments here. 5. Okay, sometimes this does look a bit loose, so what I like to do is just pull the old yarn down some more like that, and then pull the new yarn up so it reduces any space that we have here. Okay, so that was the second row. I'm going to use our counter, okay, to change that to row 3. There we go, so we're on the 3rd row now. So you can see the colour contrast as well, and you can see the V's a bit clearer now. So these ones are the knitted stitches, these are the purls, the knit, and the purls. And I don't want to say that the purl stitch is a bit messy, but considering it's the wrong side compared to the right side, which is this of our stockinette, it does look a bit messy. So that's one way for you to keep an eye out. So this is row 3, and we're going to do this for a total of 6 rows. So I'll get back to you once I'm on my 6th row. Okay, so I've just completed row 5. So this is how our stitch is looking. I don't know why it's called basket weave. I can't say it looks like a basket, but I do like the contrasting. So you've got the stockinette, and then, well, you have the knit, the purl, knit, purl, etc, etc. So I'm just going to set my counter to row 6 now. There we go. And I'm going to do that. So we're still doing the knit 5, purl 5. So let's do that now. Yarn forward for purling. I didn't remind you all at the previous bit, but remember to. So note that I'm not actually counting my stitches now, because now you've got the pattern showing a lot clearer. It's pretty clear as to what you have to do now, or rather when you need to change your stitch. Sorry, my needles are clanging on the tripod. Okay, so the last 5 through the stitch, yarn around the back. Okay, so that was my final row for the first part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my counter and I'm going to reset it back to the beginning. because now what we're going to do is we started, so the first 6 rows we did, we started with knitting the first 5 and then purling the second 5, then ending on a purl. Instead, what we're going to do this time is for this new set of 6 rows, we're going to start with a purl, so the yarn's going to be forward. So basically we've got our knit here, so once we're done with our 6 rows, we're going to have a block of purl stitches that looks like this. Okay. So it's basically the opposite to what we did the first row. So I'm going to start with a purl. Oh, there's my yarn. There we go. Make sure it's nice and secure. I'm going to purl the first 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. And where these lines are, where we were purling, we're going to put the yarn behind our needle. And we're going to start knitting these ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, with the stitch and story pattern, you don't actually have to change your colour, but I thought I wanted to make it a colour block and to of course use the lovely wool that I received from Stitch and Story. I don't really do well with a lot of choice. So that's why I thought, let's mix the colours instead. And colour blocks are nice because you'll see in the end result, it will basically look like a reversible cushion cover where you can have one colour, the plain knit, or another colour with this interesting knit. And I'm actually running out of yarn, so I'm going to do my first knit here. Let's see how many I can get done. Maybe I can get 2 done. Nope, 2 is a stretch. So I'm going to attach my new piece of wool. And while I'm doing that, I'm also going to put my counter up because I just remembered I didn't actually do that. So that's our first row. Okay. Here we go. So we're going to bring this a bit closer so you can see. There we go. Take those 2 pieces. Going to wrap it twice. And then going to knot them up. Should have made that a bit longer, but it's a bit tricky to see here. I'd say don't do what I did, and definitely make sure that your wool is a bit longer, because it's better to have more left over than not a lot, and then have your work unloop itself. But I made that really secure, so that's definitely not going to happen. Okay, so turning this back around and finishing off my knit. I didn't quite say it in the other one, but I like to keep the loose bits behind. I mean, you can always tuck them in into your row once you're done and you're doing your little finishing touches, but yeah, there's enough to do, so I don't really want to be adding more work. So we're going to put that up to our second row now. Okay, so I'm going to keep going in this pattern. I'm going to show you another 2. So we're starting on a knit. Sorry, I said knit. We're starting on a purl. There we go. Purling 5. And being careful with our new attaching yarn. Okay. Purl. So we purled those 5. Now we're going to knit the other ones. And then we're going to go back to our purl here. Knit here. Okay, so we can already see a contrast going. So you've got the nice knit pattern coming here just above where we had the purling one, and then the purling coming just above where we had the knit. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on going, and then I'll get back to you all so you can see how our cushion is looking and what the pattern is turning out like. Okay, get back to you soon. Okay, so I've just finished my 6th row for this lot. So as you can see, the pattern is, okay, so it's a squared pattern, but we'll call it right side, wrong side, right side, wrong side. So let me just kind of put this into perspective. So that would be the top of your cushion, and we have the bottom here. So basically, the estimate I can give you is that you need to do another 3 of this pattern that we were doing. So we've got right side, wrong side. So we'll have right side, so we're going to start with 5 knits, and then 5 purls, 5 knits, 5 purls, and we're going to do that for a further 3 times. So by the time you're done, you should have a total of 5 of these. So we've got 1 row, start with the right side, 2nd row starting with the wrong side, and then we'll have another row starting with the right side, another row starting with the wrong side. So your final row will be you starting on the right side, so starting with 5 knit patterns, and then, well, 5 knit stitches and then 5 purls. So if you get a bit confused, you can literally just count them again, or just remember the last row that you want to do will be starting with 5 knits. Okay, so I'm going to tune in again to show you what the end product looks like, and then how we will stitch up those pieces. So we'll be stitching the sides, so this side and that side, with our blue panel as well.